Hey everybody, Corey Schrader, Black Creek Wealth. Hope you all are doing well. Wanted to get in front of you here today, take about 5-10 minutes of your time, show you a little bit of what I'm trading this week as we're closing out this. Gosh, I guess it's Tuesday. We already had Labor Day, so that's gone now. So super excited. I want to go ahead and show you a trade real quick that I'm using and looking at. And again, this is not a recommendation to buy said trade, but it is something I do want you to think about and just kind of look at the way that I look at things. Consult your financial advisor, as it says at the open, right? So, and if I'm your financial advisor, talk to me and I'll tell you if we're doing this, right? All right, so here we go. I'm going to talk to you about SPY. I'm going to show you my covered calls. I'm going to show you my spreads, and I'm going to show you just where I'm looking at support and resistance. So, as an active trader, I like to look at things from an outside in perspective. So what the heck does that mean, Corey? Well, I like to look at things from the oldest to the newest, right? Okay, so this is 5 years, or excuse me, 10 years, looking at the month perspective. You can clearly see, unless I'm crazy, this is an upward trending market, which is what we've seen. We've seen COVID higher. We've seen interest rates rising higher. We're still moving higher, right? Here's your 20-day moving average exponential. Here's your 50-day simple, and of course the 200 down there. Now, when I look at my indicators, you have a huge overbought, but you do have a return to purchasing on a monthly basis from an RSI and from an actual stochastic perspective. It's a little bit hot, but we're still seeing upward momentum, obviously, because of AI and what happened. So I'm not going to fight this momentum, and we're going to use it to our advantage. So if we narrow it in, now we're going from monthly to weekly. So if we look at it on a weekly perspective, you can see going up over the last 3 years. Obviously, it came down, settled out. We were going up. SVB happened. We came back down. Okay, the Treasury is going to bail everybody out. Who cares how much risk you're taking on? The government loves you. Let's keep moving higher. So that's what it did. It just went to the, I almost said it. It went to the flipping moon, right? And that's where we're at right now. So last week, you can see we obviously had a little bit of an upward shot. So I have a little bit of a trend line here. Let me go ahead and remove that because I'm going to talk to you about that here in a second. So still, again, from a technicals perspective, we got a little overheated on the week. It came down. That was that minor pullback, or I wouldn't call it a correction. Still didn't hit sub 50 on the RSI. Saw a little bit of some correction. It tried to, correct itself here on the stochastics and even MACD. We saw momentum come down, and now there's a little bit of some gradual selling, but it's not anything to ultimately be overwhelmingly concerning, in my opinion. Now, when we get in on the one-day perspective, again, getting closer to where we are as of today, let's go ahead and look at the last 4 months, right? Clearly, we're still in an uptrend, okay? You can see here, got into the overbought area. Got it right here. Got a little bit of some oversolds here. So that's a little conflicting. But the RSI continues to show me that we're moving a little bit higher. And as shown here, we do have a little bit of a trend line going on. Okay. And we also have a little bit of some movement with the 20 and 50-day moving averages. Okay. So the way I'm looking at it, and again, when I look at it from a covered call perspective, you can see here, as I tend to look at just, again, time periods, we had a little bit of a falling window. That's what this gap is, and it's probably more prevalent if I zoom out. So you can see here, if we go here, there's a falling gap. That means there was a huge amount of sell orders that were on the books right before we opened, and people just wanted to sell. So that falling window, okay? So we broke through prior support, and we decided we were going to go lower for a bit. Again, that was that little pullback that we had. Now, from that pullback, we tested 4,300, and the market's like, well, we don't want to go lower than that. We don't see why we should, as evidenced here by this prior support here, okay? So it went higher. And then we had some NVIDIA news. We had some other things positive. The Fed says, hey, we may raise rates a little bit higher, but again, we're getting to more normalized rates. This isn't things that businesses can't handle. It's just now that the movement has been done, what other powers does the Fed really have? And we're trying to measure that out today. So ultimately, you have this upward trend, but you have this resistance line that's here, right? Let me get that out of here. So let me go ahead and draw this back. So you got this resistance line that's sitting right here, okay? So you have a little bit of a rising wedge, or you could even argue it's a little bit of a triangle. It's more of a continuation pattern. So as it consolidates and as it continues to try to push higher to these new rates, and I could probably draw a channel here, which would probably look better. But as it's testing it up, it's going to continue to push higher, and then it's going to make a decision point. So one or two things is going to happen. Either this is going to continue to go down, in which it will test this level here, right around 445 to 443. So it's going to test one of these two windows, okay? And this is where I would tell you to look at your trades, okay? And again, not a recommendation, just the way I'm looking at it is we have a rising wedge or a rising triangle or ascending triangle, as like they call it, in an upward moving market. If that happens and this breaks above that and it goes up, it's going to continue higher. Now, if it goes up and it tests it, it consolidates this, and we go down, we're going to go back down to 4,300. Now, how quickly we do, it may take a week or two, but we will definitely test that again, okay? So the trades that I'm looking at right now is this covered call. And the covered call, you could probably get about $85 to $90 on 45,000, which is approximately about 0.25%. Do that over 52 weeks, you're going to get about 10% income. Not a bad day. While you just ride the index anyway, and this is what I do for clients, is this we're going to make income while we just ride it anyway. And you could look at where I got my spreads is right around 439. Now, if it does break this level at about 443, I'm going to have to really look at things because ultimately, and it's, right around 446 is really the next support level. But if it does get there, it's going to test it, and I hope it holds because I don't want to have to close these trades out. But if I have to, it's risk management, move on to the next week, no big deal. But from where, again, I see everything and how it's going right now, to me, it looks like we're going to test this rising triangle or ascending triangle. And that's where I think we're going. So it may tomorrow drop a little bit lower, but I really think it's going to shoot up. But if it doesn't, it's okay. I'll just take my gains and just ride it out. Because if you had essentially bought in at this clip here at 432, and now you're going to sell at 445, right? 445. Let me fix this. 445 to 432. You would have made 3%, let alone the income that you would have just generated, so which is about 0.25%. So you got in the trade back on the 17th. That was a little over 2 weeks ago. You made, if you sold calls against it the other days, you would have made some extra income. But let's just say you do it today, and you still close out at 445. You just made 3.25% in 2 weeks. Okay, do the math. 3.25 times 26, which is half a year, right? I think you'll be happy with those results. So just the trade that I'm looking at with SPY, highly encourage you to take a look at it. Again, let me know what questions, concerns, your thoughts you have. I appreciate you listening in. Corey Schrader, Black Creek Wealth. Feel free to hit subscribe below so these come out to you more regularly. And have a great day. Talk to you soon.